Well, for all the kids out there who probably don't remember too much about Jerry Krause, who just passed away yesterday at the age of 77, Jerry Krause is the man who drafted Michael Jordan. And Jerry Krause didn't get a lot of credit. He's not in basketball's Hall of Fame, mainly because his stance with Tex Winters and the guy who's the basketball play genius who came up with the triangle offense, and the fact that he's in another situation like LeBron James. And that's how I have to use it, because most of you kids never saw Michael Jordan play basketball, even for the second time. You know, you guys barely saw Kobe Bryant. So the majority of you, if you're 20, 21, never really got a chance to see Michael Jordan do anything. So you guys probably wouldn't even know who Jerry Krause was. Jerry Krause drafted Michael. I think he drafted Charles Oakley. Drafted Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, and made all these deals. Drafted B.J. Armstrong, Tony Kukoc, and brought in Bill Winnington, Luke Longley, Ron Harper, Dennis Rodman. Traded Will Perdue for Dennis Rodman. Got Steve Kerr. All on the Bulls team and during all those 6 championships. But he had a problem. When you have a player that thinks he can be the general manager and run the whole team, you're going to have a problem. Michael Jordan didn't just become a star of the Chicago Bulls. He became the star of the NBA. And once that power started going to Michael Jordan's head, you know, everybody started taking off. Like right now, you guys probably wear the Jordan shoes and never saw Jordan play a game, except for on YouTube. Or just watch highlights. So the majority of you didn't understand that Michael Jordan had got himself used and comfortable to the NBA, bending down to his will. Very similar to what we're seeing right now with LeBron James. Now, with Michael Jordan, he wasn't going to bend the management of the Chicago Bulls. They were going to stick to the formula of Jerry's the GM, Reinsdorf is I'm the owner, you are the player, and Doug is your coach, and this is what it's going to be. And that's how this structure works. Because if we let you, no matter how great you are on the court, start dictating to us what we should do and doing our job, it's going to be anarchy. Because the next player going to want to do it, and everybody else is. So we got to put our feet and make a stance right here in this sand and dig in, because we're not finna bend to Michael Jordan's will. They traded Michael Jordan's friend Charles Oakley and sent him to the Knicks for Bill Cartwright. Michael Jordan wanted to storm into the office and choke Jerry Krause right then and there. He was hot. Didn't like Bill Cartwright, practiced with him, and just to show him, like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. It takes him 6 years to get a shot off. And he said, Bill Cartwright can rebound, and he averaged this many rebounds a game. He's good. He's a good rim defender. He's going to do just fine. Blocking shots and everything else. Just wait till he plays. So, long arm Bill Cartwright did a lot of defensive things that Charles Oakley couldn't do. Mainly because of his height and his range from blocking the lanes. He rebounded well. He elbowed people in the face from the other team. It did take him 6 years to get a shot off, but he was effective with it. And Michael beginning to see, okay, well, Cartwright can fit in a little bit here. So what we doing? As long as he get me the ball when I want the ball. He's great with setting screens. Better than Charles. Now, as the Bulls started to succeed in the playoffs and actually make some noise, you know, Scott, he realized Michael needed some help. So after drafting Horace Grant and then getting a draft pick for Scottie, people didn't know Scottie Pippen was going to the Sacramento Kings. See, the owner of the Sacramento Kings, well, not the owner, but the general manager, Joe Axelson, whatever. Joe used to always tell people who he's going to pick, and then he would just throw a curveball at the last minute and pick the guy who he was intending to pick. Krause figured out who they was going to take. Krause wanted to take Pippen. Once he saw him play in an invitational for the seniors, he's like, man, Pippen the guy I want to take. But the Bulls had the 8th pick. And he's like, Scottie Pippen's not going to be there at the 8th pick. He's like, this guy, they finna draft 6 and they going to take Scottie. So what he did was make a deal with Seattle and took their 5th round pick, sending them the 8th pick, and then a 2nd round pick for the next year, then a 1st round pick for 89. He traded a lot of picks just so they can get a 5th round overall pick for the Supersonics, so they could take Scottie Pippen. And Sacramento had to go ahead and take Kenny Smith, who you see over there with Charles Barkley every week. See, when he played in North Carolina, Kenny Smith, he always wore a knee brace. He had a knee that was kind of, messed up and everything, but he was trying to show people he was all right. And when he came to Sacramento, he was playing better than Scottie Pippen. And then he was dunking and flying down there, and people didn't know that Kenny Smith could really dunk until he came to the NBA. And he brought excitement there, but overall, Scottie became an overall better basketball player because of his height, his size, and the things he could do with the basketball. He could play different positions. So he fit in well to what the Bulls wanted to do, but it just took some developing. So the very next year, he traded Brad Sellers for an 89 draft pick, and Brad Sellers was terrible. But they got B.J. Armstrong out the deal. And once they got B.J., the team started rolling. Now, they got Horace Grant. They got all these pieces in place. Now, John Paxson is the point guard. Michael Jordan didn't really believe Paxson should be the guy no more. He really was like, BJ should get that job. We got to start getting BJ more, reps, because BJ needs to take this job from John Paxson. And we're going to get to that. And Michael and BJ are like best friends. They practice together. They drive to the games together. They hang out together. BJ was dating, I believe, Phil Jackson's daughter at the time from his first wife. And, everybody loved BJ. So Paxson knew my back is on the wall. And I need, his back is against the wall, and, things are not looking good for his playing career. And they was talking about, maybe we could trade him, maybe he could go. But Krause didn't want to do that. And after losing to the Detroit Pistons for the 3rd straight year in a row in the playoffs, after pushing them to 7 games, Michael decided, look, I got to get more vocal. We are not losing to the Pistons again. I need to talk to somebody right now in the office. So he went in there and started running his mouth. And Michael was saying and vocal about who he wanted as the player. He talked to his buddy Rod Higgins that played for Golden State. Rod wasn't happy there. And he's like, don't worry, Rod. I'm gonna talk to Jerry and I'm gonna get the Ransdorfs involved. Both of the Jerrys. That's what he said. I'm gonna talk to the Jerrys so they can make it happen. We got the budget for it. So Michael Jordan is like, man, we need this help. We need Rod Higgins. So Rod Higgins, who was good friends with Michael, next thing you know, they think they finna, they were like, the pay, everything seemed to work out. Yeah, we should get it. So Michael Jordan is telling Rod Higgins, just keep quiet, just do what you doing, you gonna be a Bull. Next thing you know, the Bulls get Cliff Levingston from like the Atlanta Hawks. Cliff Levingston? Man, Michael Jordan was like, look, this is my last year. We don't win this year, I'm out. I don't know if I'm going to keep playing basketball. He wanted off of the Chicago Bulls effective immediately after that season. This is the year they won the NBA championship for the first time. Michael Jordan was talking about leaving basketball. He was ticked off that they didn't even listen to him. They said, and just when everybody else, any other team, Magic Johnson and Bird say they want a player, they go get it. And he saw that. And then all of a sudden, he can't get what he wants. So Jerry Krause is the GM, so he took the blunt of everything. But really, it was Reinsdorf's final decision to make. And see, that's what Jerry Krause is there to be. Everybody's to hate Krause so that nobody hates Reinsdorf. Don't him. That's was Jerry's job. And it had to come with that. Like, look, that's your role. They supposed to hate you. And Phil's job is like, I just coach the team, Michael. You know I don't have any say. Well, talk to him. I'll tell him what you said. No, tell him what you say. I have no personal opinion. I just coach whoever they give me, Michael. So, Michael Jordan wouldn't even speak to Jerry Krause. So Michael started doing whatever he wanted to do on the court. But something crazy happened. They put Cliff Levingston in the game off the bench. Cliff Levingston knew Michael Jordan didn't want anything to do with him. Cliff Levingston is playing out of his mind, like out of control. Just getting rebounds, going up. Boom, boom, hitting the boards. And he became a fan favorite. Michael liked him. The Bulls are winning. They winning a lot of games. More games than anybody ever thought they could. Because now they finally got a bench or some player to come off the bench and give them some energy. And they called him Good News. Because he was always in a good mood and always was positive and keeping people up. So it was Good News. Threw him on the team. Cliff Levingston. So Michael Jordan and Cliff Levingston, they got along well when they played. Michael had nothing to do with them once they got off the court. But he respected Cliff Levingston's game. So he was okay with the Higgins decision. But now we got a situation because during the draft, Jerry Krause selects Tony Kukoc and paid him a mess load of money. Way more money to bring this guy in from Italy. Playing in Croatia, in Italy, where they saw him playing that league. Bringing him over to the NBA when he's not even played one game to earn nothing. Now, back in 89-90, Scottie Pippen signed a contract for 6 years. A straight 6-year deal, no options. He can't opt out of his contract at any time. 6 years straight. And for Scottie Pippen, it was the security he wanted. Because at that time, Scottie Pippen was not good. He was just coming into his own. Then he became the Scottie Pippen. So now that they're winning championships and doing all this game winning and all this stuff, now he wants to renegotiate his contract. And the Bulls is like, we're going to talk at the end of the year. He's like, look, I should get a bonus or something for what I'm doing. I'm still making peanuts. And this is crazy. People are coming in getting $30 million. I'm making peanuts to play. It's like, you signed the contract, though. He signed a long-term contract with no options. So now, because he gotten better and now he became an all-star and a world champion, he wants Jerry to redo his contract. It ain't happening. Now you got a bigger problem on the table. Now Scottie was mad and he wants to leave the Bulls, and he wants to prove that Jerry Krause made a bad decision giving this money to Tony Kukoc. And even Michael, who was sticking up for Scottie, like, yeah, that's ridiculous. And they didn't even want to pay Horace, but Horace wasn't going to play ball that long. Not for them. He knew to get out. He knew when they didn't give him his money, and he didn't sign that long-term contract. He signed a 3-year deal. And once he said, 3 years, I'm up. If they're not talking about re-signing me, I'm gone. Because he already knew the Bulls ain't going to pay nobody. So they left. And he went and got his money. And Scottie was like, yep, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to leave and get my money. So when they played Tony Kukoc in that Olympic game, they tortured him. Michael, then Scottie. They did a number on him, doubling him, showing him what the NBA was all like. And that's where the old ball going to be getting when he come in the league. They're going to introduce him to the game, to the big leagues. So after this, they do the number on them, Jerry Krause isn't happy. They come back from the Olympics in 92. Jerry Krause is like, I saw what you did. And he was like, well, I hope Jerry saw that so he could see this guy ain't ready for the NBA. He's like, Tony Kukoc is not going to be here for 3 years. When he gets here, he's going to be ready. He's going to be ready to play. And he was like, I hope y'all play him like that again in practice. Well, he's like, I wanted to thank them because he got a glimpse of what it was like to play in the NBA by watching them play overseas. So Jerry was like, you guys really just gave him a lesson on the court on how to play, and he didn't understand it because they didn't play like that in the Euro League. Now today the Euro League is what that was back then in Italy. The NBA is now the Euro League. That style of basketball is out the window. Nobody plays like that anymore. So now we are the Euro League. So going down this process and road, in 91, Paxson hit the shots against the Lakers to win the championship. That further delayed them making a decision to get rid of John Paxson. They kept BJ on the bench. Didn't start him. Let John Paxson stay when he was supposed to leave. The second year, Pax got the job. They kept promising BJ he was going to be the starter. It never happened. BJ, they said, oh, well, he's still too young. He's getting better, though. And BJ's like, I can't get better if I'm not in the game enough. So, after pushing the Knicks, pushing them all the way to the brink, BJ had some great moments in that game against the New York Knicks, where they had that miracle, that Game 5, Starks with the double dunk and all these things. But the team was starting to dissipate. There was a lot of things going on within the team. Even though they won a lot of games that year, the NBA had changed. There were no more real teams. They were like the last team left in the NBA. So they kind of just went through the league and kind of gave it to Portland and everybody else. And after they won that second championship, players like Stacey King, all those other players for the third time around, Ben, they thought they were going to take care of Scotty. But Scotty had been through a lot that season. His back was locking up on him. He had a lot of problems, so the Bulls were hesitant to working out a deal. But the thing was, they weren't going to offer Scotty another big deal anyway. This was all just a ploy to act like they were going to do something that they weren't going to do. Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant and Michael Jordan are kind of bumping heads during the third season. Players come, players go. But Jerry and Michael are not seeing eye to eye, because Michael's leaning more towards, like, this has been a long season. We got a lot of things headed up to us. We're looking for just going through the motions of playing. But Michael's not really pushing it. Scotty was hurt, and Michael had to carry the season by himself. They lost some games. They won some games. They weren't as dominant as they was the year before. And everybody's like, oh, well, nobody wins 3. And that's when Michael said, this going to set us apart for everybody, because everybody been winning 2 now. Before, nobody could win 2. Then the Lakers win 2. Right after that, the Pistons win 2. We just won 2. We got to win 3. So that's when Michael decided to really start cranking it up. But he knew to pace himself early on in the early game parts of the season and pick it up once they start getting near playoff time. Now, during this time, Krause is talking about trading Scottie Pippen. There's been offers to trade Scottie Pippen. And then the rumors are flying around that they finna trade Scottie. Scotty's gonna go and this and that, because Jerry, he's fighting with the Bulls organization about an extension, so they're gonna trade Scotty. Michael's like, if they trade Scotty, then they might as well trade me. It's been a lot of headaches going back and forth that whole season. So when the 93 playoffs start, the Knicks is all banged up. They're not the same anymore. And, everybody thinking like we're getting closer and closer to when, this is it for the Bulls. And the Charles Barkley series happened, and we all know what happened there. Then Michael's father passed. Michael decides to retire. Now, Jerry Krause decided, I'm going to make sure the Bulls are still in good shape. We got Bill Winnington in here. We got Tony Kukoc coming in. We're going to be all right without Michael Jordan. He was excited that Michael was gone. And this is what Pippen always wanted. I'm going to be the man. All right, I finally get to be the man. So now he's like, this is going to be my home. I like Chicago. I don't want to go nowhere. So let's go. So it was great to see that this happened, because now Scotty's the man. He's doing it this way. Then he starts seeing Kukoc is closing the games out. Kukoc is getting the final shot of the game and winning the game. So Scottie Pippen in 1997 decided, you know what? I'm going to host my own charity game like he did back in 93 during the off season. Now, back then, the owners had a lot more say about what you did in the off seasons during contracts. So when they came back, because, Horace Grant left, like I said, he joined Orlando, got his money. Scottie decided to stay. Michael came back, and they were going to trade him at the end of the year after he threw a chair on the court and everything, had the tirade, and the Bulls was going to miss the playoffs that year. Michael came back and got him in the offs. They end up losing in the second round. So when they came back and won in 96, they brought in Dennis Rodman for the steal trade of the year, which I still can't understand how San Antonio allowed that to happen. But it was great for Dennis. And Dennis Rodman comes in. And when Dennis Rodman comes into the Chicago Bulls, it immediately changed the whole spectrum of that position. So when they blew through won the record, won the title, the next year Scottie Pippen wanted to have a charity basketball game. Krause forbid him for doing it. Michael Jordan in 97 told them, look, we're out of here, man, because we're not dealing with Jerry. Michael Jordan came back and he negotiated where he got $50 million a season. They had to pay Michael Jordan $50 million a season. After taxes, Michael Jordan got like $33 million to play a season. He was not going for the minimum anymore. He used to play for $2.4 million. For those first 3 championships, Michael Jordan was getting like $2.4 million a year. And he was generating hundreds of millions of dollars for the league. Then the Bulls became a $1 billion business, $1 billion organization, which the company wasn't worth what? $100 million when Michael got there? Wasn't even worth that. Jordan built them into a $1 billion business. Their overhead is over $1 billion. Off his jersey sales, everything. And you were paying Michael Jordan $2.4 million a season? Then you had the audacity to sit there and tell Michael Jordan no man is worth this kind of money? Then why are you getting paid? And that was the first time Michael Jordan saw the dark side and saw who was really the enemy. Your enemy was Reinsdorf all along. Jerry Krause was just the answer man. Your problem was Reinsdorf. As Reinsdorf wrote that check out to you, to Michael Jordan, he was upset because he had never had to pay that much for a player and never thought he would ever in his life. Because Reinsdorf don't believe in paying people. That's where the White Sox suck for so long. If he got to go in his pocket and dig down and pay somebody, oh, it's going to be an unproven player from overseas. That's just how Reinsdorf worked. But that's why he got along so well with Jerry Krause. Jerry was good at what he did, but Jerry was also there to be hated. That's the general manager's purpose. Some of the owners just like, look, your job is to handle the business and the day-to-day operations, the hiring, and all this stuff of like the players and going through that process. I don't want to have nothing to do with it. I'm going to own the team. I'll show up to do this and that, and I'll take care of the paperwork and this with my assistant. But most owners, like, they've never met their players. They sit at home. Some of them don't even go to the games. But those checks gonna keep coming in. The general manager job is to alleviate that hate. They supposed to hate the GM. And they love that. Players hate the GM, so that means they have less hate for the owner. But Jordan saw it firsthand when Reinsdorf told him No man is worth that amount of money. That was the first time he realized his enemy was Reinsdorf. He was the one behind it. But he still had ill wills towards Krause because he's the guy you're supposed to hate. So rest in peace, Jerry. I understood your pain. You know, you had to do what your boss told you to do, and you did that, and you drafted well. You drafted and brought him in the league. When everybody thought they should get the guy that went to Portland. And everybody was like, man, you guys drafted him. We supposed to get Sam Bowie. So, you know, Krause said the owners win championships and not the players. You know, so everybody took offense to these things. Not me, but they did. So, that's about it. I don't want to talk your ear off all day. They still never liked Jerry. Tex Winter, then he fell out with Michael Jordan. A lot of people, Johnny Bach and all the coaching staff, you know, they were the staple of the team. You know, a lot of them, Michael kind of butt heads with a lot of them, but he always, you know, he understood Doug, and Doug understood Michael. You know, so that's just how it was. So that's it. You know, I got really nothing else more to say about it. Rest in peace, Jerry, and I'm out.